So, by a show of hands, who tries or likes to be humble? Okay, so now I got you because you're all being prideful. I'm teasing. I'd like to be humble. I try to be humble. Not sure how often I succeed, but our scriptures give us something to consider. Zephaniah gives a striking image today. He says, "Seek the Lord, all you humble of the earth. Seek justice, seek humility. Perhaps you may be sheltered on the day of the Lord's anger." These humble are not powerful. They are not self-asserting. They are not violent or deceitful. And here's the important point for us. Because of that, the humble live secure and unafraid. Safety and peace, Zephaniah says, do not come from dominance or control. They flow from humility. We may not like trying to be humble, but there is benefit from God for doing so. Then in our gospel, Jesus stands on the mountain and names that same people as Zephaniah, but he names them in light of the kingdom. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the merciful. In other words, those who love rightly because they are not centered on themselves. These shouldn't be abstract virtues. These are ways of living that should be common for us. Here then, I think, are three important lessons from our scriptures. 1, humility isn't a weakness, it's a refuge. Both readings quietly challenge one of the deepest lies that we absorb from our world, that our security comes from control, from status, from wealth, or from always being right. But Zephaniah says the humble are kept safe, and Jesus says they inherit the kingdom. The world says to us, protect yourself, but God says to us, entrust yourself. Humility here is not humiliation. It's not passivity either. It's the clear-eyed truth about who we are and who God is. The humble person knows my life is not upheld by my own strength, it's by the Lord's strength. 2, loving rightly flows from knowing who you are before God. Zephaniah says the remnant does no injustice and speaks no lies, not because they are morally flawless, but because they are no longer scrambling for power or recognition or validation. And the Beatitudes work the same way. They are not a moral checklist. Jesus is not saying, do these things and I will bless you. He's saying, this is what life looks like when you know that you already belong to God. When we know who we are before God, beloved, forgiven, and held, we don't need to manipulate others. We don't need to wound others in order to protect ourselves. Mercy becomes possible because fear no longer rules us. And 3, peace is the fruit, not the goal. Zephaniah ends with one of the most tender promises in Scripture. He says, they shall pasture their flocks and couch their flocks with none to disturb them. Notice, peace isn't achieved by chasing it, it's given. It grows out of humility and trust. Jesus says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, not the peace avoiders." Our world tells us, be strong, be visible, be first. But God tells us, be humble, be faithful, be His. So the question these readings leave us with is simple but demanding. Where am I still trying to secure myself instead of seeking refuge in the Lord? And those who seek the Lord in humility, those who love rightly, will be kept safe and will live in peace. And now a joke to end on. A teacher asked the children in her Sunday school class, if I sold my house and my car, had a big garage sale, and gave all the money to the church, would I get into heaven? No, all the children answered. Well, if I cleaned the church every day, mowed the yard, and kept everything neat and tidy, would I then get into heaven? Again, the answer was no. Well, she continued, then how can I get into heaven? From the back of the room, a 5-year-old boy shouted, "You gotta be dead." And let me add, you gotta be humble.